Hello. I want to take some time with you to talk about the subject of reciprocity and how this works in the giving and taking of our major gift fundraising relationships. Reciprocity, it's about the power of favors, the power of giving gifts. There was a social scientist, Dr. Robert Cialdini, who wrote a book a few years ago called The Psychology of Persuasion, a compelling book that identifies these very powerful social norms, and one of which is reciprocity. Essentially, when one does a favor for another person, there's a powerful social expectation that goes with that gift of a favor, that motivates that person in return to give a favor. And this is something that's very powerful. It's very evident in the way we live our lives, certainly in this country, in this world of ours. And it's something that has bearing on how we engage donors. Now, we're not about manipulation. We're not about maneuvering. We're not trying to be clever. We always are to maintain an orientation of respect, humility, deference towards our donors. And yet awareness about something like reciprocity and incorporating it in our interactions with our donors is something that's good for our donors and can be good for us and for our organizations. So practically, how does this work? Well, whenever I go to meet with the donor, I try to bring something for the donor. It could be a gift, university tie, a couple of wine glasses with the university logo on it, a publication of our university, or a book of one of our faculty, perhaps around a subject matter that I know would be of interest to the donor, or an article that I come across, or greetings from the chancellor, or an update about a student that is a beneficiary of the donor scholarship. I always try and bring something to that donor that the donor will be appreciative of. And in fact, the donors are appreciative of such gestures. They're delighted. They're surprised. One donor said to me, "Martin, you are always bringing gifts to us." And I thought, I'm glad you've noticed. So what the giving of gifts, the giving of our thoughtful attention to them through favors, it disposes them. It disposes the donor to be receptive, to take us seriously, and to consider carefully what we might ask of them, so that they might do what they can to return the favor. I'll offer to do favors during the course of our visits with donors, and sometimes I'll know in advance what subject I would like to bring up, so that because I know what kind of favor I'd like to propose to do for the donor. And volunteering or offering to do favors for the donor is a way, again, of knitting the relationship, but also creates a reason for you to be welcomed back by the donor. So sometimes the donor will ask a question, and if I don't have the complete answer, I might say, you know what, I'm not sure about that. I hesitate to answer that. If you don't mind, it would be my pleasure to go back to meet with whomever I might need to meet with, to do some research, and I'll come back to you with the answer, a thorough answer that will satisfy your question. Well, in that kind of exchange, it's pretty hard for the donor to say, no, don't do that. I don't really care. No, they're much more likely to be receptive and say, well, I would appreciate if you would do that. And then you can get the next meeting with the donor, particularly if we're talking about prospects here. That next call is very important to lock in. And again, reciprocity can facilitate it. I almost always will ask advice of our donors and about something that matters, that's current, that's of concern at our institution, our university. And I'll take their advice seriously, and I will pass it along as appropriately. And that, again, this is they're doing a favor for us. I will ask their assistance, and this isn't always for asking for money, of course. I'll ask their assistance. Would they volunteer? Would they come with me on a particular call to accomplish something with another organization or with a donor? Would they introduce the chancellor, myself, one of our deans, a faculty member, to someone that we know they have a relationship with, so that we could begin perhaps a new relationship with someone we've yet to engage? This reciprocity is a very, very powerful concept. We want to go the extra mile for our donors when we can. You know, I have certain donors that will call upon me with some regularity, asking for one matter or another. Some of our terrific donors, of course, have students at our school. If something arises that they have a question about, they might ask me to look into a matter for them because they love and are concerned about their students. These are things, of course, we have to do with the utmost appropriateness, but I'm happy to go the extra mile for them because it sets up, again, this dynamic of reciprocity. So I would like to know what you think about this. Have you used gift giving? Have you consciously worked with this notion of reciprocity? What have you learned by doing so? If you haven't, I encourage you to, think about how to incorporate it in some of your upcoming calls, and let me know how it works for you. Of course, I always appreciate the time you take to listen to what comments and thoughts I have to offer, and I thank you very much for listening.